All right, Darryl. Well, let's take a look.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know. Our first episode, very exciting.
Yes.
Kind of a while in the making. We had originally planned on starting this thing, when was it, September?
Of 2020.
Yes, but here we are. Inaugural episode.
4 years later.
Yes.
Well, let's introduce the show.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Take a Look with Ryan and Darryl. This podcast is all about real estate and small business. And we're going to have some guests on. We're going to talk about the market, different things about our business, but really focusing on real estate, small business, and the entrepreneurial life. Yeah. All right, cool.
It's a life.
Intro complete. We're good. But for those who don't know, we are OneLook Productions. We are a real estate marketing company, and we specialize in photography, video, aerial,
3D tours,
floor plans, social media content. So we're digital content providers, and we partner with real estate agents. For the most part, we also do corporate work.
Yeah.
And we wanted to start this podcast to, one, educate our client base, what we do and how we do it. But also we want to use this as a content engine for our clients and people who come on, where we can use the long form conversation and cut it into the short form stuff. So, and everyone else is doing podcasts, so we want to turn too.
Well, we want to make great content, as we say.
So we just want to go into our next segment, which is our market Snapchat. What's going on? Snapchat? Did I say snapshot? Snapchat. I don't know what I said. I snapped Snapchat. This is our market snapshot.
Thanks, Jamie.
Not
Good
Snapchat.
catch. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what's going on in the area we're in. So our office is in Belleville, Ontario, and we service everywhere from Kingston to the Kawartha Lakes to Durham to Prince Edward County. So all of that rural Ontario area. So that's kind of the area in which we're primarily concerned with the market.
Yeah.
What's going on, prices.
Yeah.
Things that affect everywhere, like interest rates and other new political policies that come in, like this week, which we'll get into later. But what's going on in the market, Darryl? What's exciting you?
Yeah. It's interesting because obviously during COVID things skyrocketed and things went crazy and people moved from the city and prices went up and demand was really high. You could sell a house in a couple days, and there was actually a lot of value in the marketing we were doing there just for the agents, because if you won a listing because of the content that we were creating for you, that listing was almost guaranteed to sell in a few days. So it was totally worth like the investment that you're making. And then things kind of leveled out, and now I think we're more in a balanced market where marketing is still important because a listing is going to stay on the market a bit longer, and you're trying to justify that higher price point from that previous time. So now all of a sudden you have this great amount of content that you can make sure that your socials and your listing aren't feeling tired.
Yeah. It's interesting. Whenever anybody asks me kind of like what I do for a living, and I tell them I'm in real estate marketing, they always ask, what's the market going to do? And I always tell them, I was like, anybody who tells you they know what's going to happen in the market is lying to you. Because I think there's too many variables that play into effect how it all.
Yeah, there's not one answer to that. Otherwise, everyone would do it.
Well, that's it. Because even you look at over COVID, one of the many reasons real estate kind of took off is when people couldn't travel anywhere.
Yeah.
People started investing a lot more in their homes. So renovations, backyards, decks, all that kind of stuff, or also getting into relocation, getting out of the cities, getting out of the urban markets, getting into the rural areas. And we're now seeing a bit of that, I don't know, slowing somewhere. It's not, it's
people are traveling now again, and people are back to work if they were working in the city. I know I've heard a couple stories of moving out here, and now they're selling because they need to move back because they're driving 2 to 3 days into Toronto, and it's just
2 to 3 hours.
No, 2 to 3 days a week. They're driving 2 or more hours to the office, one way, and then 2 hours back. It's just not working. So.
Well, for a lot of people, working remotely worked really well, and still can. And now that we have Starlink,
thanks,
thank
Elon.
you, Elon. that people can actually work remotely and live out here and do a lot of different jobs.
Yeah.
But we are seeing a lot of trends of people moving back into the office because I think a lot of employers are realizing that people aren't as productive when they're working in their pajamas.
Studies show.
Surprise, surprise. Though I love working at home, but I do love.
Yeah, I think there's a balance because sometimes working at home you can get more done because you're avoiding some of that office distraction of conversations, water cooler, go out for lunch, that kind of stuff, which, I mean, our lunches are usually at least productive a little bit.
But as far as what we can see in our market here, we're seeing a lot of listings come up. The spring market is here. It's the spring market has sprung, as we say. And I mean, we're busy. We're shooting lots of listings. I don't think things are selling as quickly.
Not like hot off the press, but I think a property that's priced well, property priced well will sell.
Yeah. Well, that's it. My dad always said that every listing will sell.
Yeah.
For the right price.
And that's just like everything's for sale for the right price.
That's right.
So I think I think a lot of our agents are having to coach their clients to get manage expectations, which we like to do a lot of managing expectations, even in the work that we're doing in terms of delivery timelines and products and that kind of thing, because if the expectation is managed, at least everyone's on the same page. So I think there's a lot of that going on, and that's a skill in itself, I think, to kind of show people, like, obviously you're doing market research. Some listings are hard to have comparables for if it's a unique property. But if you're showing them facts and stats and previous listings that were in a close enough time period, then you should be able to kind of show your client why you're coming up with the number you're coming up with.
I think prices are still high for a few reasons. I think one of them is supply demand. It's probably the most basic one when it comes to economics. You have supply and demand. We do have a lot on the market right now, but we still do have a supply issue when it comes to real estate in this country. I think we brought in 1 million people last year into the country.
Yeah, something.
Plus, that includes students.
Right.
So 1 million people.
People need a place to live.
And we did not build 1 million homes. I forget what the number actually is. There is a supply demand issue. A lot of people are still trying to get in the housing market. But because prices are so high, interest rates are higher. We'll put an asterisk on that, higher.
They're leveling out,
but we're not paying 18% like our parents were in the late 80s.
A different price range back then too. But there another good point to that, I think, is that people, in terms of expectations and supply and demand, when people bought high and now their mortgages are coming up for renewal at a higher rate, I think that's why we're seeing a lot come onto the market too. The term upside down on your mortgage is very much true for a lot of people right now, it's sad. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people are having to sell because they can't afford their mortgage, but then they need somewhere to live still. And rent prices are kind of crazy as well. So there's a lot of struggle in housing.
Yeah. Well, I think there's still a lot of uncertainty for a lot of people, waiting to kind of jump the gun and get in the market or sell and move. But I think it's going to be a good year for real estate. I mean, we've already been really busy. I think a lot of people are having a little bit more trust in the market than they were in previous years.
Consumer confidence is getting up there.
Yeah. Well, and that helps when the interest rates are plateauing.
Yeah.
So
that's the market update.
You got any favorite listings out there, Darryl, that any notables that we've shot or haven't shot that you'd like?
Yeah. Man, there's a lot because we've been shooting so many. There's probably my favorite one is going up today, April 17th, not to date our podcast. And it's just the coolest property north of Coburg. You know which one I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, the one that's Sydney Fairman's listing?
Sydney Fairman. It is a beautiful house.
I want it.
On top of the fact that it's got, this is a little plug for you, Sydney. Beautiful house, and but it's on 5 acres with 2 ponds, and it just keeps getting better the further back of the property you go. You walk down into this forested area, and there's a creek running all through it, and I can just imagine like camping down there, having a fire up on the property. There's a pool. The house, the layout just is great. There's sight lines everywhere, it's just beautifully designed. And the location, I mean, if you're living or wanting to live in Northumberland or near Coburg, it's just outside of town. So you get that private country lifestyle, but the convenience of being close to town. So that's probably my favorite listing on the market right now. Though we shoot so many, I'm probably forgetting other ones that I love as well. So what's yours? What's your favorite?
It's kind of,
can't say the same one.
I know I can't say the same. It's probably the Edward up near Lake on the Mountain.
Yes.
I think it's probably my favorite now for value. I mean, not only is it a gorgeous property, I think it's, 80 acres plus? 80, something like that. But it has a beautiful Cape Cod home that has a apartment suite in that house, but then also a completely separate 2-unit. It's like a joint longhouse kind of thing. So you really have 4 living units on this property, and it's just near Lake on the Mountain in Prince Edward County, and it's just gorgeous.
Is that one listed by?
That one is listed by Aaron Lachance. Aaron Lynn Lachance. Yes. With Harvey Callis. It's been on the market for a little bit.
Well, it just came back.
Oh, it just came back on the market. Yeah. Sorry, that's right. It just came back on the market. I think it may have had a few offers. I'm not sure if it's gone yet or not, but it's just beautiful. I loved capturing the photos and footage there, and we're gonna capture some more stuff actually there next week. Let's move on to our feature segment. Let's talk about leadership. Leadership in our business and leadership in general.
Yeah, well,
tell me your thoughts about leadership.
What makes a good leader, Ryan? Of course, we asked the same question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think both of us have taken leadership courses.
Well, yeah, I like my 3rd year was leadership and management.
Right. So yeah.
I've taken a few. There's a lot of subject matter on leadership, and there's a lot of experts on leadership. Simon Sinek comes up to mind for me, but I think just what makes a good leader is complicated, but being empathetic to situations that come up with staffing and your team, and kind of understanding that everyone's human at the end of the day, and life isn't perfect. And even though we try to build our systems to ensure a machine that runs smoothly, there's often times where things come up that can't be avoided, and just working through that with compassion and understanding, and not getting upset. So there's times where something is not ideal, like missing a shot or crashing a drone or all of these other things, and instead of coming at it with like a harsh disciplinary type of attitude, I kind of take the stance of making sure that they're okay first, and kind of going through what happened so we can kind of analyze what happened, and not really getting hung up on the the discipline of it. Like, that's, you're going to lose your job because of this, right. Or we're going to take all this money out of your paycheck because you did this. It's like, no, that's our responsibility. If this happened, it's my, at the end of the day, it's our business, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we provided them everything they needed. And if something happened out of the system, that's probably because we missed something, and it's ultimately our responsibility.
Yeah. Well, I think to me, leadership ultimately means, I like the image of sacrificial leadership,
right? Where
there's this image where I think a lot of people think of leadership as they're fronting the charge and they're dragging everybody behind them. Where I think it's more you're behind everybody pushing them forward.
Right.
And you're supporting them underneath. So whether that's in just like tasks during the day, but I think what comes to mind is training.
Right.
I've been in our leadership course, I think it was by John Maxwell, one of his books, excuse me, where the idea was to train yourself out of your job.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You want to empower other people to be better in life. So
yeah, I think empower is a good word.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those difficult things, especially with skilled trades, is you have people who you hire to work for you, you train them, and then they take off and then they become your competition kind of thing. Right. So that's where a lot of people will
hesitate.
Yeah. They'll hesitate. They don't want to train you. They don't want to teach you anything because they get really insecure about their position. But
I'm kind of like, I want you to learn literally everything so that you can do it and I don't have to.
Well, 100%.
Focus on something else.
You want them to achieve better. And even if it's not for us in our business, if we train people here and they move on to other things, and I let that fear of them maybe being in competition or losing them after investing in them, well, I'm only like shooting myself in the foot, because I really see the employee-employer relationship as mutually beneficial, right? Like the better they do for us, the better we do for them. It's a rising tide raises all ships, and with that. So
personally, I can kind of get stuck in the perfectionist mindset, and it has to be perfect. It has to be everything that I would do. And there's also, you have to understand that 90% is good enough. If I was doing everything myself at like what I would call 100%, I will get much less. I will not go as far as if I had a couple of other people trained at 80 or 90%, alongside with me. So that's also this kind of a popular saying is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, which is part of the reason we partnered too. Like we had to do it together because we both have skill sets that are actually, what's the word? Complementary. So that I know you're in your lane doing your thing and I'm in my lane, and together we can go far. And then when we add other kind of management staff on, like Jamie and Jay and other people to come alongside us, we can all go together and we can all go further. So.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, I like that. And that's one thing that I think we value a lot just in our training process itself is we are training our staff to be leaders.
Yeah.
So not just in the typical sense of, I'm leading a team and everybody's going to do what I say and follow my instructions.
It's not authoritarian.
That can sometimes be part of, leadership. But even on site, like our staff, when they're meeting with our clients, they're leading our clients.
Right.
Whether that's managing their expectations, it's educating them on our products, or directing them on camera. That's all forms of leadership. And there is, not everybody has that natural knack of leadership, but people can be trained in that.
Yeah.
So that's one area we really want to focus on, because we do see our staff as leaders, not just in our business, but in their own lives. I mean, everybody is a leader in some way.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to have the right idea of what leadership is. Because I think, like, if it goes authoritarian, I think we can end up with a lot of broken relationships, business and personal. Yeah. And it's no bueno. Not so good.
No, I think just to kind of wrap it up, it's like we really care about our team, and we want our team to thrive, and we want to have fun with our team, and we want to have. That's why we really promote our team getting together often, because the nature of our business, they are on shoots alone sometimes, or just never seeing each other. So we like to have at least a quarterly barbecue. Sometimes we go bowling. We just had a really fun branding shoot with our entire team. Shout out to Christine Reed. Killed it. That was a lot to manage. Yeah. I think there was 11 of us, something like that.
Yeah.
And we just had fun together. And I think that's critical to ensuring everyone is mentally well, which is a big part. We didn't even touch on the mental health aspect of things, but that's really important for us in our business.
Well, we really wanted to create jobs that we would want ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I went through a lot of different jobs, and whether it was a boss who didn't value me as a human being, or wouldn't listen to constructive criticism or feedback or things like that. Those are all elements in how we wanted. Well, those are things that influenced us to create the jobs that we've created. And I think that's the thing I'm most proud about in our business, is that we have created jobs for amazing people who love their jobs, and we have a good relationship with them, and there's good communication, and we can all just grow together.
Yeah. I mean, we could have a whole podcast about communication.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably one of the biggest attributes of good leadership is good communication.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just leave that segment at that.
I think so, yeah.
Good leadership means good communication. Did you hear that? Politicians around the world? Anyways.
They're going to listen to you.
Stay away from the controversial, Ryan. So let's go into a product spotlight. Were we talking about a product spotlight?
Yeah. Well,
What are we talking about today?
I want to talk about our not super new, but newer OneLook portal for our clients, and specifically some of the features that it has to help you market your listings, all you realtors out there. It's great. So
Yes, Darryl, tell us about the portal.
Well,
What is it?
The portal is obviously where we can book shoots, and you can manage bookings, and you can pay invoices, and you can download your photos, all of that, which is great. But we also have this newer product that we're kind of testing out, piloting with some people, and that's our marketing kit. So it's this amazing feature on our portal that for the low price of that can be added to your booking, and it creates an pretty well automated website, and it has a flyer builder as well. And what it does is it pulls everything from your listing, all the details that we input. If you send us the description and some of the details, it can all be on there automatically. And then you can go through a few different templates, and you can pick one that kind of matches yours. You can change some of the color scheme and fonts to something that aligns with your brand more, and really customize it to the look that you want. But what's great is like all the placeholders that it pulls from the listing. So all the photos, 3D tour, listing videos, all of that stuff gets pulled through to the website, and you can choose which ones you don't want to have on there, and you can easily replace them just by like clicking on the picture and selecting the one you want in place. So for the flyer builder, for example, tons of templates. You can do mostly single page flyers. Don't believe there's any trifold or bifold flyer templates right now, but you can also do social media graphics, where you can pick which photos you want, add your descriptions, add your headshot, contact information, and it's super easy to use. And it's available as a really affordable add-on to any service.
Nice.
Yeah.
How much does that run?
$75.
Oh, that's not bad
for listing. Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. I mean, you can get a lot out of that.
So myself.
You can get a lot out of it, and you can use that website link on MLS so that it can take people right to the unbranded version of the website, and they can see all of the content.
Nice. Well, why?
And they can see all of the content in one spot instead of having to like send them multiple links. And you can even buy a custom domain if you'd like for that.
Nice.
So
I guess maybe an obvious question, but why would somebody want this? What's the benefit of it?
Well, it's nice to have one spot that you can showcase all of the listings data and images and videos. So like as a buyer, you're looking for all the information you can get up front, right?
How is that different from seeing a listing on MLS?
Because on MLS, you can have one link to multimedia, which would be either the video or the 3D tour or nothing. And this kind of pushes you to a website that has everything in one spot.
Yeah, that's great. So that is called, what is it called? What's the product?
It's called the OneLook Marketing Kit, or just the Marketing Kit.
So ask Jamie or, well, I guess
so
who on the phone,
if you're
Jamie or Verna, ask them about it. And
or if you're booking online for yourself, it's in the add-on sections, and you can just click, add it to your order, and there it is.
Nice.
And if your logo and headshot is in your profile, it automatically does your colors, logos, everything on the listing website. Like, just customizes it right away.
Yeah, so if you have a profile on our portal, if you have your headshot uploaded and your logo uploaded, it's going to automatically put that onto your listing website, and then you can change the color theme to what matches your brand best. I think it has like that little hex code or whatever, so you can really customize specifically to your colors and your brand.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that brings us to our one of our last segments, our listener Q&A. I think we have a question.
We have one here
from a longtime viewer and listener of our podcast, which is this is our inaugural one. So.
Well, yeah, long-time listener if you include phone calls. And
that's true. This is actually from our friend Alex, who is one of our entrepreneurial friends, and she's been following our business since well before its beginning.
Well before, yes.
Yeah, you guys went to school at Royal Roads.
Yeah. So Alex Carnio, what do we got? All right, this is going to be a fun one, I think. What are the biggest icks you see when you're doing a listing?
Oh, okay. Number one, right off the top, is toilet seats that are up.
Oh, that's definitely an industry no.
This is one thing that's probably saved my marriage, Darryl, by being in this industry. At first thing I do wherever I am, whether I'm even when I'm on a shoot or not, I'm always shutting toilet seats now because I just hate it. It just looks so bad to me. Because if you're looking through photos and you see a toilet seat up, the association immediately is
I'm not even
toilets.
looking at how nice like the backsplash is or the shower or any of the finishes. I'm like, that toilet seat's open. Like,
and it's gross.
Hawkeye.
It just makes you kind of a little bit like it's nobody wants
so
it.
we've definitely, it's something that our team has definitely missed before, is having that open. And Renee, our talented editor, has had to Photoshop some lids closed before. Not something we love to do. So keep those lids closed. That's a good one, Ryan.
Toilet seats, put them down, folks.
Yeah.
Put the toilet seats down. It'll save your photos and your marriage.
Should we go into another ick?
Well, what's your ick? That was mine.
That's definitely
what's your biggest
That's
ick?
definitely my ick. Well, okay, it's not so much an ick, like it's not gross, but I don't like seeing soaps, dish soap, hand soap.
Like bars of soap or like liquid soap?
No, like just like in a scene, like if you're looking at a photo of a bathroom and there's like a Method soap bottle beside this beautiful sink and faucet kind of thing, and or like a Compliments or some soap. What's that?
You're just like generic brands.
Generic
like
brand.
Something ugly.
Yeah. Like
But something in like in a dispenser.
If it's in a nice
fine.
dispenser, that's fine. But I don't like, seeing
Used
palm
bars of
olive,
soap.
or like palm olive green soap beside this really nice kitchen sink. Put those away. Is kind of what I like to say. It's not ick as in gross. It's ick as in I think it ruins the photo.
Yeah.
Similar to a toilet seat being open, it takes the focus away from what we're really wanting to showcase, which usually, in a detail shot, if you see a green bottle or a blue bottle of a dish soap right beside that, you're not looking at the rest of a farmhouse sink or a granite countertop, a nice faucet.
The details matter.
Details matter.
Yeah.
So
All right.
thanks.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say thanks, Alex, for that listener question. That was a good one.
Thanks, Alex, for that question.
Yeah.
And speaking of questions, if you have any questions for us about the real estate market, about OneLook, or us personally, send us a message on Instagram, YouTube, email, any of those places.
Yeah.
So that's really the show. If you'd like to be on our show and take a look with Ryan and Darryl, again, give us a call, text, Instagram, email.
We'd love to have a conversation.
Yeah, cool, nice.
Done. Nailed it.